Hey, before Ray starts, I'll give you a little admin. So I guess that we have the RWR today, so we're light, but we'll be recorded. It's a new year. So we have membership is $20 for individual, $25 for couples and family under 23. If you could, that really helps. We try to keep the cost down. The first meal is $10. And then in June, it will go for the new members. They'll get a free meal with it too. So anyway, those are the new numbers. A lot of work has to be done on the website. I got to look at this. So we are live. I'll hand it over to Ray and look forward to a good year. It's a good political year. Get things working right here. It's all yours, Ray.
All right, here we go. The beginning of 2026 will be a great year if everybody gets out and votes, locally and state and federal. We have 4 candidates here, and due to time restraints, the first one's going to be the candidate for mayor, Ed Larson. Ed?
There's a W.
What did I say?
Larson.
Lawson. Oh, well, I screwed up again. Ed, take it away, your stump speech. And Gary is going to flag, what, 2 minutes?
Is that what you want? That's fine.
Yeah, 2 minutes for each of your stump speech.
Okay. And when it's over. All right. Well, it won't take me that long. So I'm Ed Lawson. I'm running for Sparks Mayor again. I think one of the reasons I can hear myself speaking. Can you hear me okay back there?
We're good. And you
Okay.
sound good at streaming also.
Okay. My experience in doing this job, number one, I've been 15 years on the council. There's lots of ideas that I have put forth throughout the years, earning my first public official award in 2014 for doing something as simple as deferring impact fees until the time of C of O for builders. That saved thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in interest for those builders that then didn't have to pass that interest on to the home buyer. Many other deals is my slogan's always been find a way to say yes. And that doesn't mean we say yes unequivocally. It means we say, if you want to build, and I'm going to be the Nevada boy, you want to build a whorehouse in downtown Sparks, there is a path to make that happen. But here's the path. So it's you deciding that you don't want to go down this path. My biggest example of that was we had a clean manufacturing company building surgical instruments, and we told them they couldn't go in this location because the fire hydrant wasn't close enough. And all we had to do was $20,000, move the fire hydrant over. We would have had 38 high-paying jobs in our city, but because our staff wasn't thinking that way. So I've changed the mental attitude of the way we do business in Sparks. Our citizens are number one. As I tell our employees daily, we're a service organization. We don't make anything. We don't invent anything. We are here to serve the public, period. We don't do anything else except serve the public. And that goes for every level of the city. So with that, I'm just going to ask you to vote for me again. We have lands bills coming up. We have some appointments in DC coming in February, and I'll keep you apprised of all that's going on.
Thank you, Ed. Next is Ariana Freilich, that's running for Nevada Attorney General.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. Thank you all for taking the time out to come here today. My name is Adriana Guzman Freilich. I am a practicing attorney here in Reno. I grew up in Sparks, Reno, went to Sparks High School, UNR, and then UNLV for law school. I spent most of my legal career working for state and local government before I opened up my own law office 6 years ago. I worked at the State Ethics Commission as its general counsel, as well as Governor Jim Gibbons. I was his general counsel. And I worked for Gaming Control Board, Gaming Commission, Public Utilities Commission, and also as Chief DA in Carson City. I'm running for Nevada Attorney General because we need to have somebody like me in there that's going to work with Governor Joe Lombardo and make things happen. We need to roll back the soft on crime policies that Aaron Ford has put into that office. We can't afford to have 8 more years of the same. And so I am planning to make sure that we get the governor's bill implemented, his crime bill implemented. We need to protect our kids. We have all of this internet sexploitation of our kids. We have social media that's really tearing down the fabric of our family. We need to make sure that the fraudsters that are out there that are taking advantage of our goodwill with these social programs, we need to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. And we have so much to do. We need to stop suing our president, and we need to just focus on Nevada. And that's why I'm running for Nevada Attorney General. I appreciate your support and your vote. Let's get out there and vote in June. And one last thing that I want to mention to you is that this week, in conjunction with the governor and a couple of other candidates, we have filed a petition. This is for protecting girls' sports. And so we want to make sure that we get that rolled out. It's going to be on the 2026. We'll get the signatures, and it's going to be on the 2026 ballot, again, 2028. And we'll amend the Constitution. The part of the Constitution is the Equal Protection Clause that we have in there. We want to make sure that we make girls' sports safe for our kids, and also protect their opportunities for scholarships and have an equal playing field. So again, I appreciate your support. Thank you, Adriana Guzman-Freilich, for Attorney General.
Thank you. The next one is running for County Commission currently, and number 3, Trista Gomez.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Trista Gomez, and I am running for County Commission District 3. I am, a little bit about me, I've lived in Sparks, Reno my whole life, except for a couple of short stints where I tried to get out, and then Reno and Sparks just pulls me right back in. Not Reno, really, mostly Sparks, Spanish Springs. I went to school at Robert Mitchell, Trainer, Sparks High, Sparks Middle, TMCC, UNR. Those are the schools that I went to my whole life. I lived in Old Sparks until I was 7, and then I lived in Old Sparks again after I turned 18, and then my family still lives in Spanish Springs. I've been here forever. My family is a hardworking, blue-collar construction family. I am a first generation college graduate. My dad actually said, don't go to college because they're just going to brainwash you. And so that wasn't something that my family really, decided to go to. All of my kids are either in or have graduated college. And so that was something that was important to me. And I'm running because I was just grinding along. I mean, I say this on my website, but it's true. I was just grinding along thinking that everybody was doing the right thing. And I had a little bit of an issue. I was running an Airbnb, and it was a really confrontational experience with the county. And I was surprised at what had happened, sort of like when we're all working and not paying attention of the aggressive regulations and the things that they're doing to the county that makes it harder for families to live, and harder for families to start small businesses, and harder for families to work. And so it made me start to pay attention. And the things that I found in the last couple of years since I've been paying attention makes it very, very clear that we have time, but we need to make a change, and we need to turn some things around to keep this a great place to live. And so those are why I'm running.
Thank you, Trista. And last but not least, Tammy is still, and I got it right this time, is running for number 5 County Commission.
What's she running for?
Number 5. County Commission.
Hi, I'm Tammy Holt-Still. Thank you for coming. I'm running for District 5, Commissioner Herman's position. I moved to Nevada when I was a sophomore in high school. I graduated from Carson City, was married for 21 years, I raised 2 sons and have 2 beautiful granddaughters. I was divorced in 2024. I began with the state of Nevada back in 1990 and then retired in 2011 when I moved to Lemon Valley to live with my wonderful husband, George, who's had his home for over 40 years. I also have 3 grown stepsons now. I was raised Catholic, believe in the man upstairs. I also live by the golden rule. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. It helps me with doing the right things, listening, being honest, being kind when you're telling anybody what needs to be said, listening very much, and trying to help others. That's what got me into what I'm doing right now, which is running. My dad always told me the word "I can't" is not in your vocabulary. That's why I'm here. I can't stop trying to change things. So that's why I'm here, to try and change things. The way that things have been run around here lately are not right. Things are not working right within the county and the cities, and we need to fix it, and I don't know how to fix it. So the only way to do it is to try and run. So thank you.
There we go.
Now that we've done the intros, we'll start with Ed, and he's on a time restraint. Ed, why are you running again, and why are you running?
Basically, I mean, there's unfinished business. The city of Sparks is virtually out of land at this time. In the state of Nevada, if you're not growing, you're dying. There's no in between. As we saw during the Great Recession, where our incomes dove into the tank, with the amount of 1.5% for any house that's under 50 years old property tax, we are not growing fast enough to keep up with expenses. Right now, we have roughly about a 20% difference between revenue and expenses. Now, everyone says, well, go ahead and cut expenses. Well, how many more policemen do you want me to cut? I'm down 25 today. How many firemen do you want me to cut? I'm down 12 of them today. I'm down 30%, 35% overall in city staff in the city of Sparks because we don't have the revenue to pay for them. So you either have to do one of two things. If you're a business person, you either raise your prices or you find additional revenue sources. In our case, our additional revenue source is to grow to the east, grow towards the employment center, where there's 40,000 people that work out there every day, and 85% of them live with us north of I-80 in Reno and Sparks, and make that commute easier for them, but also open up that land for commerce, for houses, for ways that we can generate money for the city of Sparks to continue with the style of life that we so enjoy. And that's the hard part. I've been working on a lands bill with the federal government for 9 years. The closest we've got was last year. It passed through committee in the Senate, and I have an appointment with 3 senators in DC coming February to talk about moving us up. The new way to do it is there's a lands bill. Nevada has one. There's 100 and something of them. But how does Nevada's lands bill move to the top? So that's what I'm going to DC to talk about. The governor's very supportive. He's one of my campaign supporters. We had a joint fundraiser together. So I think all in all, I got the most experience with the most knowledge.
Thank you, Ed. Now, the next question, and this is geared to Sparks, is you've mentioned something, but what are your goals and how do you plan to, more importantly, how are you going to accomplish them?
I mean, number one, you've seen the road. And let me explain. I got a lot of flack for the toll road idea. And northern Nevada was built on toll roads. There was 117 toll roads. This made Nevada a state. 117 toll roads built by private contractors that 20 years later reverted back to the state. That's, if you looked at NDOT's budget is about $1.3 billion a year. 300 million of it goes to DMV and state police. The other $1 billion is available to spend on roads. Because Las Vegas is 70%, Las Vegas gets 700 million. The rest of the state gets to divide up $300 million. And you're talking about one road that we're talking the cheapest version of it is $350 million up to $500 million. The most popular road today is the Southeast Connector. You know when that road was approved? 1964. You know when it got built? 2000. Because the state doesn't have enough money. That's why the toll road makes sense. I'm not going to press the toll road again because I got beat up on it so bad. So now we're all going to pay for it, just like we do today. You're paying for roads in Las Vegas that you'll never drive on, and Vegas is paying for roads up here they'll never drive on. But we're going to do it the old-fashioned way with the alignment of the road that allows us to open up BLM land without the federal government telling us that we can or cannot do a particular plot of land. BLM can make that decision here locally in the state of Nevada. So that's the plan for the future. Without raising revenues, we are in deep doo-doo.
Thank you, Ed. And by the
Another
way,
four-letter
each
word.
of the candidates, even though he has to leave by 1, you'll be able to ask questions after we finish questioning. Adriana, why are you running?
Well, I'm running because we can't have the same thing that we've had for the last 8 years. And because I can win the general. We need somebody that can win the general. And I'm that person. We need somebody that's going to go in there and that's going to do what needs to be done in Nevada, because our current attorney general has not even been in Nevada. So how can you get things done when you don't even show up to work? So we need to get in there, see what needs to be done, and start working for Nevada. Focus on Nevada. Don't focus on what's going on in the national scene, but let's take care of our people. Let's take care of Nevada. Let's see what we can get done. And the governor and I, we will work together very well. And let me tell you, the reason why I know is because I was there with Governor Jim Gibbons, and I was his general counsel. We had a Democratic attorney general there, and we were trying to get things done, mainly fighting Obamacare. And we couldn't get even an opinion. So can you imagine, you've got the attorney for the governor and you can't even get a legal opinion. We had to go outside to outside firms and ask for legal opinions of what we could do. That's when I saw firsthand that you need to have somebody in the attorney general's office who is the attorney for Nevada, the attorney for the governor, that's going to work with the governor to get things done. And that's why I'm running.
Next question for you. What are your goals and how do you plan to accomplish them? That's more important. How do you get it done?
Once I'm in there, once I'm inside, once I'm in the governor's office, once I'm in the attorney general's office.
A little ahead of it.
No, and I have no desire. I mean, I tell people I'm not a politician, but I guess now I am a politician because I'm running for this office. And the plan is to get in there and surround myself with smart people. You need to have smart people working in that office, and we've got some really good people in there now. And we need to work together with all the agencies. When I talk to people, I hear that these agencies are having issues with not getting answers quickly enough. So we need to find out why that is, why they're not getting the answers that they need. You need to have your attorney to give you guidance with all of these different agencies. And so that is something that I plan on making sure that we get back to our client, which is the agencies of the state, and answer whatever questions they may need and give them the legal help that they need, because that's why the Attorney General's office is there, is to give them guidance.
Thank you. Now moving on, Trista. Again, why are you running?
I am a little, oh, thank you. So I've been really fortunate to have a lot of different experiences in my life. I grew up, I will call it, well, my family would call it economically challenged, but I've been able to see this wide breadth of different kinds of lives that are lived. And I worked as a social worker, and so I was able to knock on probably 1,000 doors, and I was able to see, how people lived and what their struggles were, and how different people worked. And then my family, we are funded by a small business. My husband's a chiropractor, so I understand small businesses. I understand the struggles that small businesses have, and I understand when you have heavy regulations, what that can do to small businesses. When you have overt costs, what that can do to small businesses. I've also been able to travel often, and you can tell within a jurisdiction, like when you're in a new city or you're in a new state, you can understand, is that state or city, have they prioritized? Who have they prioritized? Have they prioritized the people? Are there small businesses? Does it feel safe? Is it easy to get around? And you have seen oftentimes, and then I've also been able to see when cities are different than that, when cities prioritize what I would call maybe like a more government class. They are spending a lot of money that doesn't benefit everybody, but benefits a couple of small, distinct populations. And when that happens, it is hard to, then the rest of the people, the rest of the residents, they're not benefiting from the taxes that they're paying. And then they're going to be asked for more taxes to keep up with the costs that weren't responsibly managed. And with that is something that I think we see. You can see that all through. And I think that is something that really needs to be addressed. And there is time to address it and turn it back around, because we're not that far from a balanced budget just 6 years ago.
Thank you. Next, Tammy, why are you running?
I started this process because of Washoe County didn't listen to the residents of Lemon Valley in 2017, when
There you go.
Washoe County was in the state of emergency. So we reached out to the state of Nevada Governor's Office in Emergency Management. After the aftermath of that is when I started seeing the reasons why I needed to run. With the collaboration with Councilwoman Ebert and Commissioner Herman, I had to keep moving forward. With Commissioner Herman leaving the seat, we needed someone with a strong voice to keep the connection with the city of Reno and Washoe County. And we need a voice. And the only way to change anything between the city of Reno and Washoe County is for the citizens to have that right. And to have that right, for them to have their voices heard, is to change the vote. Anybody in the sphere of influence, the NRS needs to be changed so that the people in that sphere of influence has that right. And that needs to be by changing the NRSs. And that's one of the things I'd like to see done. And that's one of the things I want to work on when I'm in that seat, is to have that NRS changed. Also, that by working with the other residents or working with the other cities and being a strong voice to make sure that instead of pointing fingers back at each other, that we're working together with our infrastructures to do the right things and sizing using the master plan.
Thank you. How do you plan to accomplish it?
The master plan was originally set up to use the earth sciences and used it, what was with the residents were involved, earth science was used. They did all of everything to know exactly how stability, what would be the best benefits for our community out here? And that needs to go back to that. Also, instead of giving incentives to our developers to develop, we need to, instead of incentivizing them, they need to be looking, instead of using profits, they need to actually be listening to the residents and doing their developments as they should be. Starting from the ground up, developing, and we also should be using our partners and our other in the counties around us, such as TRIC. Our master plans should be connected with their master plans so that we are developing together instead of trying to develop afterwards, instead of, catching up.
Before we go on and have the audience ask questions and live stream, Bill Conrad is running AV, is the co-founder of Redmove along with myself, and our treasurer that keeps us honest, stand up, Karen Conrad. There's also some other candidates here that spoke last month or will be speaking in the future. One for number 40 is Drew Rebar. Stand up, Drew. Next one is Kathy Wyrett. Anyway. Number 5, she's running for number 5. Drew is running for 40. With that in mind and a time constraint. Huh? Oh, I didn't see. Okay. And Wendy is running for mayor also as Sparks.
Gary, we also have Gary, Sergeant of Arms, who's an ambassador. We have a few volunteers that are full-time. Hey, Gary, he keeps us straight, watches the doors. Can't get by him.
And Gary is our timer. And he keeps everybody honest, even myself. Anyway, let's start out with open questions, and that'll include Bill. Let's start with Ed. You have questions for
You
Sparks.
need to come up to the mic on the top and so they can hear that, so we can hear it at home.
What did he say?
He said you need to come to the.
Just come up to the mic to ask the questions.
Oh, yeah, come up to the mic.
I'll do a first question for the mayor. So as mayor, what is your number one challenge, period?
Misinformation, by and large. I say that I'm a student and a teacher. I listen to people, I then figure out how to make this work. But literally, the misinformation that is out there is so enormous, it's incredible. And I can't believe some of the things, and and not to point anyone out, but I heard today the governor controls zoning in the cities. That's absolutely not the truth. So those kinds of things get out there and then they're perceived as truth. So I spend a lot of my time in education and saying that's just not simply the truth. I mean, it's not the way it works. So there's a lot to this job. And I didn't realize it when I got elected in 2010, just how much there is to it. But there is a ton. When you think you know what you're talking about, you do not. And if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room because you're not. So the bottom line is it's a continual learning experience. What I do is I figure out the problem and then work the solution to see what is the best way, the least expensive way, and the most effective way that's going to improve the citizens of Sparks' lives.
Thank you, Ed. I have a question. Can you clarify, is my question, about the toll road in the past and why we need the extra road?
That anchor, that albatross is going to be around my neck forever. But you know what? I'm a solutions guy. And if I thought it was a great solution just based on Nevada's budget for roads, that the people who created the need for the road would be the ones who pay for it. Because all those people driving there, going out to the Tri-Center, they are going to get a fast pass from their employer. So they're not paying for it. The employer's paying for it. Now, the employers are the ones who created the need for the road. Makes perfect sense to me. I mean, that's, in my mind, that's a capitalist society. So there's a lot of misinformation on the toll road. Like I said, it's the reason why Nevada became a state with the Comstock load. We had to get a lot of silver out in a quick hurry, and we didn't have the ability to become a state without that.
Especially electric cars. That's the only way you can get any money from an electric car right now is a toll road.
Next question.
That's a whole nother subject.
Go ahead. You sit there.
I have a couple questions for you. One, if we get hit with another pandemic, will you protect the people from the government overreach?
Absolutely.
And how would you do that? Because obviously the governor came out with executive orders that were overriding our constitutional rights. How would you stand up against a governor that did that?
I'm just going to follow the law. I mean, that would be my job, is to follow the law. And I believe in states' rights. And so I would follow the Constitution and follow all of our Nevada revised statutes and administrative codes.
Okay. Second question, will you make sure that the people's complaints get answered instead of the current ignoring we're experiencing now? We've turned in over 100 complaints about election violations, and we have not gotten one response from the Secretary of State or the Secretary of Elections.
Well, and I think that that's part of the problem, is that there's a lot of silos in all of the different agencies and with constitutional officers. And, you know, a lot of people, am I getting a lot of feedback there? A lot of people think that because it's a legal issue that you have to silo it, but that's not necessarily true. If we can get in there and get those silos taken care of, then we can find out what the issues are and respond to them. And the Attorney General's office represents the Secretary of State. So they need to answer whatever complaints are out there. And if there's a backlog, then we need to find out, why is there a backlog? Do we not have enough deputy attorney generals? Do we need to get more deputy attorney generals? Do we need to have some kind of a process? Maybe the process isn't working. So I love hearing these stories and what the issues are, so that if you know what the issues are, then you need to fix them.
Drew Rebar, Adriana. Oh boy. So I'm a small business guy. Difference between me and all the other candidates up here is all of you have been in government for a very long time. You work for the Ethics Commission, you said. I've tried to file multiple complaints with the Ethics Commission over the year, along with the Nevada Bar. And one of the things that frustrates me greatly as a businessman and a citizen, and I think it affects a lot of people. I just had a discussion with Greg Heffen the other day. 80 to 90% of the complaints with the Ethics Commission are denied and turned down. Do you think that the people of Nevada want 80 to 90% of their complaints when they're worried about ethics to be turned down? Same thing goes with the Nevada Bar. So is there really any accountability in the government? You talked about bringing more accountability to people in your brief presentation, but you never talked about bringing accountability to the government employees and the bureaucrats. How would you do that, or would you?
Well, here's, and I don't know if I was clear, but I also have my own business. So I own my own law practice. So I know the private sector as well as the public sector. I was in the public sector for a long time, but I also know how the private sector works. And I worked with Patty Caffaretta over there for the Ethics Commission. She was my boss. And a lot has changed in the process with the Ethics Commission of how they handle things. So if it's not working, then what's the problem? What's the issue? And those are the things that we need to take a look at. The commissioners, the ethics commissioners are the bosses, and they need to, and they're appointed, half of them by the legislature, half of them by the governor. If that really is an issue, then that's something that we need to look at and find out what's happening. Are the laws have been changed a lot since we've been there. So are the laws and the processes not working? We need to fix them because it can't just be, window dressing. We've got to have like a robust ethics commission.
Unfortunately, I running my business for the last several decades. I have not experienced any changes. I've just seen complacent government, unaccountable people, and I just really wonder how you would change any of this. Aaron Ford, I'm completely against. I would much rather have you than Aaron Ford, so I appreciate your thought. Thank you very much.
Test, okay. Mayor Lawson, I'm a resident of Sparks. You may have seen me. And I want to make maybe kind of like a statement as a citizen of Sparks. But I also would then be interested in your reaction. I noticed that you said that the only place you could cut would be, and I know it's not necessarily true, but the places to cut would be police and fire. I attend many city council meetings, and I know that there's a lot of other programs, a few that I don't agree with, and you could certainly cut those. And, I probably should take some time. I didn't, even. So my question is, what is your, well, no, I got to make this is the important part of the statement. I live off of Earthstone and the BLM, and they're building a lot of houses, and it's causing a lot of traffic issues, and I am very much concerned about that. So I just, be interested in your reaction. But and I also know that his reaction to my comments is my question as a citizen. And so I just want you to know that the traffic on Vista and Sparks is horrible at 3 in the afternoon. One, is there something you can do about that? And two, building, as crazy. I'd just be interested in how you can. It's a balancing act. How would you balance it? And we're talking cuts. We know that there's a budget deficit. So, thank you. And by the way, thank you all for being here today.
Ed, go ahead and answer.
It's a lot to unpack there, but the roads, most of and this is where part of the problem is, when I came into office, my hands were handcuffed. We do what's called a development handbook in Sparks. Most of those handbooks were done in the late 90s and early 2000s, still in effect today, that tells us the way we're supposed to grow. In that time, 25 years ago, nobody contemplated that the Washoe County would build another city outside of the city of Sparks, which is causing the traffic to come down Pyramid, Vista, and Sparks, which is causing congestion that we could not have foreseen back in those days. Even if we can see it in the future here, to change a handbook is literally a big deal to do. You have to have the people all agree to the change, and then you have to have a vote on it. If it's an HOA, I can change ordinances just fine, but changing a handbook is a whole different deal, which is what most of Sparks is. So traffic, I agree with you, is a big deal. But I'm not sure why the opposition to the road from La Posada to USA Parkway. If everybody complains about, there's more cars on Pyramid Highway than there is on I-80. I don't know if you guys knew that, but there's about 15,000 more cars per day on Pyramid Highway than on I-80, and that's an interstate route. Why are we having a complaint about building a road that's going to relieve pressure, make it safer for the people who commute out there? If you have children in daycare, you cannot get daycare in Reno and Sparks if you work in the Tri-Center, because they don't know when you're going to get home. We have to do that. We have to make that change. And moving out there with the road allows us to claim BLM land, which allows us to then grow, which allows us to create more tax revenue, which helps us in the long run. Until the state decides they're going to change the way our property tax system works, which I believe there's no appetite to do anytime soon, that we have to play the game by their rules.
Ed, I have a question. How do you think in the future we're going to be able to control and get the roads and everything? I know that we need the toll road or whatever you want to call it.
It's
We
the
need-
Northeast Connector now. We don't call it a toll road.
All right, connector, all right.
I never got out of hearing.
You learned the hard way on that one.
I did, but you know what? I learned something.
All right. Joni, you have a question?
I'm Joni Hammer for Adriana.
No. Show, Ed, if you don't mind, show.
Okay. Given all the waste, fraud, and corruption in government, all levels, how are you going to prioritize the work of the Attorney General's office to even get to a piece of all of that?
Well, I think first of all is just to assess what's been going on for the last 8 years. And then get to work. Prioritizing what needs to be done. And then just, bird by bird. That's how it's going to happen. And the job of figuring out where the waste and abuse is, I mean, that falls within the purview of the governor, but as his attorney and the attorneys for all of the agencies, we will make sure that we guide him to get all that work done. So we'll just work, very well, together to get those things done.
Ray, can I do a follow-up? Given you haven't been in the governor's office before, for this governor, how are you going to know where all the waste, fraud, and is? I mean, that could be 8 years in itself to look for it.
Well, and of course, I'm sure that the governor already has an idea of where that lays, where the fraud, waste, and abuse is. And as general counsel for all of those agencies, it'll be our job to prosecute that fraud, waste, and abuse. And so it may not necessarily be our job to find it, but it's our job to prosecute it. So that's why it's very important that we reelect Governor Joe Lombardo, because he already has a handle on what's going on, and he needs an attorney general that's going to work with him to be able to prosecute and to your concerns. You're welcome.
I know it's almost 1, and Ed has to leave to go to a meeting. I want to thank him for being here, and we'll continue. Ed? Any parting comments?
Nope, just thank you very much. I think this is an important part of the election process, is to hear out the candidates. And I hope some of what I said made sense. If not, call me. My cell phone is the same. It's been for 25 years, and it's been public since I ran for office in 2010. So you're welcome to have it at any time.
Now, the next question is going to be for Trista. She has to explain how she plans to accomplish her goals.
So I have had the opportunity to sit in on so many of the commission meetings. I mean, almost each week I'm able to be there and sit for, most or all of it. And I'm able to see that what has happened is there's not a consensus in what's been going on. And so there's 2 things that I say. We need a resident funded commissioner so that we can have a resident focused commissioner. A resident funded focused commissioner will also address, when I'm at commission meetings, the things that I hear the most are traffic, infrastructure, the incredible budget deficit that's very new, just within the last 6 years. Really, honestly, only since Alexis Hill has been the chair that we've had an incredible deficit, and we've had a huge increase in income. These are fixable problems. We know where we were. We know where we went. We know where it went wrong, and we still have time to turn that back around. And so when you have 3 commissioners who are constantly voting for increased development without adequate infrastructure, it's just the main thing I hear at any meeting I go to. When you have 3 commissioners agreeing to that development every single time without any concessions by the developers, any more road impacts, any more of those things, and like Mayor Lawson said, we have built an entire city without adequate infrastructure on Pyramid, and that should not have happened. My family lives out there, and it's incredibly difficult. It's difficult for families, for their time, for their gas, for their money. They've got to eat out more. I mean, it's not just an inconvenience; it's a hardship, and it costs families an incredible amount of money. And the commission continues to vote for that. Additionally, they continue to vote for things that increase our budget for a very small group of people. And it's not benefiting the general of us. It's not benefiting all of us. And so we have a heavy payroll that just was approved in the last 3 years. And then we have a heavy CARES campus burden it's expensive to run. And we've got to address those 2 things in order to make the budget work, and to make the budget work for all of the residents, not just a small few.
Thank you, Trista. Tammy, what do you feel about the CARES campus and the lack of oversight?
Well, I knew this question was coming also. I have a personal issue with the CARES campus because I have a son personally who is at the CARES campus. He is homeless and has a mental issue. I haven't had an opportunity to really learn about this CARES campus, but because he is there and he is using the CARES campus and he isn't getting any better, the opportunities is not being maximized to its potential. I believe that the municipalities are not working together on the CARES campus, and that the county is put millions into it and that's still not being used properly.
Same question, Tristan. What do you feel about the CARES campus that's now under the county that used to be the city?
Right. So let me be really clear that we do need services. I am not somebody that says we just need to not have any services, because that, as a social worker, I have worked with people who clearly need services. And the issue of that is, what are the outcomes of the services that we're providing? What is the cost to the residents of the services that we're providing? I have been very involved in the CARES campus, not only because of the cost that it is to the residents and the impact that it has to our infrastructure and the costs that aren't being spent on the majority of residents, but also because I'm very interested in the treatment outcomes, the outcomes of that population once they've been into that campus. The county has been incredibly forthcoming with me for some of the costs. I know the yearly costs, and I'm going to share some of this later. I know the yearly costs of the CARES campus. I've done a tour of the CARES campus. I'm going to do a tour of our place soon. We have several different homeless and housing initiatives in the county. They're incredibly expensive to run. Some of those I feel like are doing a good job, and some of those I feel like we need to rein way back. And we need to prioritize our county residents when we're talking about these services, because our county residents are paying for that. I'll give you a little story. When I was a social worker, if we had a homeless person in Washoe County, what we did in Washoe County was we sent those people to San Francisco. Why? Because they had services. And so now we hear all the time about busloads of people coming in, other state jurisdictions, and even in California jurisdictions, sending people over to the CARES campus. And we don't have a control for that. We don't have a mechanism to rein those costs in, or to control those costs, or even to have a significant outcome set that we're trying to achieve with this population. And so there's a lot that we can do. It's already existing. It's probably with us forever, but we can incredibly reduce those costs and make it much more effective.
Thank you. Now, because we have a little bit more time, other questions from the audience? Johnny?
For the two commission candidates, Trista mentioned outcomes. Have you looked at the Reno Sparks Gospel Mission outcomes? It's off the charts compared to no outcomes at the county. So my question is, would you be willing to look at putting money that is going to the CARES campus into a private organization such as the Reno Sparks Gospel Mission, rather than keeping it at the county level? Because clearly the CARES campus is failing.
This is directed to the
To
two county.
So we've had some of these existing, what they would now call informal, but we used to call them formal resources for years and years and years. And those used to be the resources that we had. And when you're looking at outcomes, Reno Sparks Gospel Mission, Salvation Army, some of these other programs, they just simply are, if you're looking at the outcomes of the least amount of money, the most amount of accountability, and the least amount of time that people are in these programs, those are simply these resources that have been around forever. The other good thing about these resources is these are people that are not highly paid. There's not fraud even available in those resources. And so, there's on such a tight budget, we do donations to Step One every year. Our office does, because we believe that those smaller resources, they have a huge amount of care, they have a great amount of accountability, and they are an incredible and the more useful and the more effective resource for those. So in my opinion, and I've said this at county meetings, we need to absolutely re-engage those informal resources that we have, and we need to even re-engage some of the people that used to work directly with the homeless that now have been told they cannot because of these more formal HOPES teams and these other resources. And we can absolutely do that, and we should be doing that. And really, you could have one person that is really collaborating between all of those entities. And it would be a phenomenal use of money, because that person who knows all of these different systems could save the county and the residents so much more money. And the money that we are spending, that is an incredible amount of money on this CARES campus, the money that we are spending on that could be redistributed to the rest of the residents, for all of us, for the infrastructure needs and the maintenance needs and the other needs that we need to do. And it has to be something that we look at, because if we continue this and they're continuing it, it is going to cost us all a lot of hardship and money.
Tammy, same question from Joni.
Based upon the expert right here who has been working in the healthcare system, it sounds very good to me, because it's not an area that I'm an expert in. And as a novice in this area, sounds like she knows what she's talking about, and that's where I would go. As somebody who is not an expert, you go to the expert, and that would be the way to go.
That's being upfront. Thank you. Drew?
For Adriana, with regards to state agencies, the Nevada Administrative Procedures Act is how state regulations are formed by agencies. There's a process for that. I've got a lot of documentation where DPS, Department of Public Safety, law enforcement, DMV, let's just use the DMV for a second. Did anybody vote to close the DMV offices? There are a lot of ad hoc regulations as defined by the Nevada Supreme Court that are being enacted and enforced currently. If you were to win, what would you do about all of the ad hoc rules that have been enforced for decades now?
So by ad hoc, you mean that there was no process, they didn't follow the process to make the regulations. They just basically just started doing these procedures, and they became kind of ad hoc rulemaking.
Exactly.
Okay,
You want me to give you examples?
sure.
So the DMV here, just a couple of months ago, the chief of police there, JD Decker, and I don't even know why you have a chief of police for the DMV, but that's a whole other topic. He created a new rule that changed all of the regulations with regard to disposing of junk cars and made it harder to dispose of junk cars. In contradiction to, and I've got to give Heather Goulding a shout out here. She's a Democrat. Don't agree with most anything she did except for this. She pushed a BDR, got a law to make it easier to get rid of junk cars off property. In between that new law coming into effect, Mr. Decker wrote an email, and all of a sudden the next day I own a towing company. It was much more difficult and much more expensive for me to dispose of all of these cars that blight our neighborhoods. And that's just one small example. I'll give you some more off the record if you'd like some more. But how would you deal with these fake regulations? What should happen to these government employees that are putting their own personal will onto the people without legislative intent or legislative approval and a sign off by the governor?
Well, I think that's something that definitely we'd have to look at and find out why they're not following the rules. They have to follow the rules, because if they don't, then it basically puts the state in jeopardy, right? Because then you could just sue them for not following the rules. And we don't want to spend money being sued. We want to make sure that we want to make regulations, but we don't want to make them so burdensome that people like you can't do your job.
I would not be sitting here if it were not for ad hoc rules and regulations. I would not be a political candidate trying to fix the problems that I've identified. I've tried to fix them with the current AG. I've tried to fix them with the current governor. And every time I try to resolve the problems and point out the problems, just like I did to you, and I can show you the emails, I can show you the videos, I'm ignored. And again, I'm going to go back to giving a Democrat props. Sorry about this, because I disagree with them almost entirely on everything. But Heather Goulding, when I saw this, I called her, she answered her phone, and she helped me solve the problem. But if you're the Attorney General, you're the one that's supposed to protect and defend the state.
Mm-hmm.
You're not representing the people, you're representing the state at that point in time. And what I found is, whether you're a Republican rhino or a Democrat, they don't care. They're ignoring these ad hoc rules. They're allowing them to be enforced, and nobody's doing anything about it. So I would hope that you would do something if you do win.
Thank you. No,
Thank you, Drew. Go ahead, Ariana.
no, thank you. And I appreciate that, because this is how you find out what's wrong and what needs to be fixed, is by coming to places like this and hearing from the public of all of the issues that are going on and taking note of them. So that way, when elected, then you go in and you start fixing everything. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Any more questions from the audience? Going once, going twice? All right, we're going to do what's called a speed, less than a minute. Your parting comment starts with.
First of all, thank you again for being here, and thank you for getting out and voting. I'll take your support, and whatever that looks like. We need to make sure that we support our candidates. It's tough to run for office, let me tell you. I'm finding out what it's all about, and we need to find good candidates. We need to support them however we can. We need to tell our friends, family, neighbors to vote, to get out there and support. I appreciate everything that you do for us. And again, I've got my contact in the back. Get a hold of me if you have any questions, if you have any input. I appreciate you. Thank you. And let's get out there and win this. Thank you.
Go ahead.
We are not far from a sustainable budget and a good lifestyle. This was not long ago. This was just not long ago. And we have the opportunity, if we do something about this now, to turn it back around. We need one more vote on the commission. We need to have one more vote on the commission. If Mike Clark can stay in his position, he actively responds, and most of the time, or some of the time at least, accommodates residents. And then we have Jeannie, who is very good and very caring about residents. And we need one more vote, and I can be that other vote. And it's a hard race. My race is a hard race. The stats are stacked against me for sure, but I love this county. I love this place, and I cannot just keep complaining. I couldn't complain without trying to do something, right? And so that's why I'm here. And so I would really encourage you all to support your favorite candidates. I say it all the time. We are working against incredible donations for the Democrats, and we really need resident support. So find your couple favorite candidates and donate $25 a month even to them if you can. And we have to band together. We have to work together, and we are really hoping to create a commission that works for residents, listens to residents, and responds to residents. And so that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm running.
Tammy, your name?
Voices are heard, but to make a difference, they need to vote. To vote, we need to change the law. That's why I'm running. I am here and I'm committed. I am a strong voice. I want to make a difference for sewer, fresh water, fresh air, police, fire, schools, open spaces, a place that we all love and I want to call home.
Thank you. Now, on a few announcements. Tomorrow at Famous Dave's is First Friday. Any of you don't know what it is, kind of a fun time where you get to network with fellow, hopefully conservative people. No politics, right? And they do a good job there. That's number one. Number two, our next meeting, we're going to change so there isn't a conflict with any of the clubs to the first Wednesday, which will be Wednesday the 4th. And one of the candidates is going to be another candidate for Reno mayor, Kathleen Taylor, along with several others. Drew will be one of them. Like I said, we're moving the time, and try to come tomorrow. It's kind of a fun time. We even let Joe attend. Anyway, with that in mind, I really want to thank the candidates. They did an excellent job in answering questions. It's not fun to be up here and have to answer questions. And Bill, why don't you tell them how they can see the video?
Yeah, to watch the replay, all you have to do to go is to redmove.org, and then you click on this. Let's see if I can click on it right here. See, right, it's live right now, but it'll be replayed a little later. And you can watch it. You can also, if you go to YouTube, and if you would like and subscribe, that would be really good. Stop it. And then go like and subscribe down here. Hit that and share it with your friends. And that's the way we grow. We usually get about 100 views a month or so. We can get a lot more. In the days when we were doing it with Republican Men's Club, we were actually getting 3,000 and 4,000 views at different times, depending on who we had. So anyway, it'll be there for the replay, and you go to redmove.org. And thanks for everybody. Oh, also, another announcement. So Redmove likes to not leave any food. So we got a very special today. Normally we're $5 for another meal. You get 2 sandwiches for $5 today. So if anyone could buy those, it'd be good because it helps to replenish a little bit. So we'll save 2 for Ray. Ray, you better get up here and take 2.
Thank you, Bill. With that in mind, next meeting, well, tomorrow we expect to see all of you at Famous Dave's. And with that, huh? No, 6. 6 to 8 or wherever, if you guys don't get too drunk, depending how long you stay. With that in mind, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it. Even though we didn't get what we wanted.
No, this is good. Tisha, nice to see you. You too. Sure, I'll be seeing you around. If you ever want to just, chat, let me know. A couple times we chat with your chat.
By the way, Bill and I are going to do a podcast, our review on 3 different subjects here. If you want to listen in, you can.
You got a minute to talk?
Yeah.
We'll leave me off the record, which is.
Oh, I like that.
So let me share something with you. I didn't want on the record yet.
Thanks, Ray.
Ad hoc.
Oh, you're welcome.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
All right, I'll try to make it tomorrow if I can get off work early enough.
Here's a screenshot. of
Yeah,
the
it's,
contract.
Adriana. Excuse me. Adriana,
It's a contract.
it's not set time. It just runs 6 to 8.
Oh,
You don't
yeah,
have to be, yeah.
Joe Lombardo was in the contract ad hoc to change and he worked to change the toll tariffs. There's a Nevada Supreme Court case from 1989 called Las Vegas Trawl. And Nevada Supreme Court case, and there's adding the word quality basically is adding a rulemaking without notification, meeting with principals, the whole process. So he's had a contract. Now, to implement this contract, shortly after he signed this, they just went to all of the southern law enforcement agencies. And then they brought the state director about that. So now it is an administrative fee, Article 4, Section 18 is the taxes and fees have to be approved by a two-thirds majority of the legislature signed up by the governor. I'm not an attorney, I'm just a right there. I'm just speaking out.
No, you guys make it big bucks. Hey, I'm a PI lawyer, I know how that works.
Well, I've been, anyway, back to the question. Joe Lombardo signed this contract. Millions upon millions of dollars. Two multi-billion-dollar investment corporations. No, because there's an administrative fee that was created with an ad hoc rule by adding towards an administrative fee of $25 for the toll tariff. Now, I've got every single document, every single record, every single meeting minute that caused this thing to happen. Now, I'm in a quandary. I don't want to do this. I'm asking Lombardo's endorsement. And have you ever run into somebody who has a good choice? Most of us. So, Lombardo's the least people that I see who has an opportunity to win. I have a little social media presence. I've got almost 4 million followers and 104 million.
That's not little.
104 million views in 90 days. So I could push this, but I want to fix the problem, and I want the least objectionable choice to be the governor. How do I solve this problem? And primaries are coming. I may just go file a pro se lawsuit. I don't want it. I want to solve the problem.
Yeah.
So if you were to get this job, because Aaron Ford doesn't like it either.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, from my perspective, and this is an insult, you've been a bureaucrat. All these people have been in the government. Everybody in the government is ignored you. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. How do I solve these problems? I get a situation where I push videos out. And right now, what is the public conscience on as far as no, actually, I'm going to disagree. The public is left to decide for a very long time. Right now, the zeitgeist is not sure. We're not going to decide right now. So would you really hold people accountable for the government? From my perspective, the government protects itself. My government, the Attorney General's office, they told me, we are here to protect the government. You're not here to serve you, the people.
Well, and that's their client, but at the same time,
That's the problem you have with attorney, that's your client.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are really bad actors that you can't protect those bad actors. You have to.
They do. I got locked in the back of a patrol car for simply recording in public by Deputy Bueno of the Carson City Sheriff's Department. It's a 95-degree day on August 30th, 2023, and Deputy Bueno closed all of the windows, closed the air conditioning directly to himself. The body cam is kind of cool, it's on my report. Watch me get drenched in sweat. And I filed a complaint with the attorney general, that's what happened. I filed a complaint with the FBI, that's what happened. And I know, I talk to Kenny Furlong all the time, Kenny doesn't give a shit. He won't fix the problem. Yeah, he's protecting his guys. On the other hand, my attorney, he was sued and got $1 million in public funds. Oh, it's somebody passed away. I know you're South Florida.
Yeah?
You're rich.
No,
South Florida. There's a problem. I think the views that I have on social media are nowhere near this. Leering said that. I've seen that.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Well, you never know. I can't see them. But if you were to win, how would you solve this problem? Or would they just play more? Because that's my experience with the Nevada government.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna do it. Like I said, I've been on that side, but I've also been on the private side. So there's a reason why most people that are working for me get out, and that's because they get tired of it. You know, I get paid regardless, I still pay the paycheck, it's not my job. So people like, you know, no, it is your job, you're gonna do it, you're gonna get fired. And then there's unions now, I mean, there's unions when I was in city government, but now.
Let's get rid of